In a world with entirely too many shows about cars, this is another pointless automotive podcast.
Welcome back to another pointless automotive podcast starring
Reunited and it feels
Frank
so good.
and Chadwick, and we have been away for a little while. This is not something worth celebrating. We missed our first Wednesday drop, my friend.
We did. Yes, and not by design,
No.
by everything. Really genuinely almost anything and everything that could have gotten in the way did. Between communicable diseases and work arrangements and a large mouse. Yeah, lots of things have gotten in the way. How are you? Good sir.
I'm hanging in there. I'm gonna shut this fan off. It is like not just for the viewers that aren't sweating along with us. Yeah, dude, it is way past Miller time, my friend. So,
well,
I hear ya.
Well, here's the thing. I figured I would need to go with some extra super fancy seltzer to drink while we're recording this episode. So this is a Dark Horse Sorbet seltzer from Crown and Wolf Brewing out of Clovis, California.
It's funny. It's funny, Frank, that you bring up seltzer because
why?
Lately I think people have been drinking the beef flavored seltzer, and I'm looking at you.
Oh,
auto off topic. I'm looking straight
boy
into your souls, your polar seltzer drinking dirty souls. I don't know.
So
where to go from here.
Here's I've got a bone to pick. First of all, what is something that somebody has never said when deciding to pick out their flavor and brand of bubble water or seltzer water or sparkling carbonated aqua beverage, whatever you want to call it?
Sure.
Man, what's the history behind this seltzer?
Oh my God.
No, nobody knows. Nobody cares.
Although Brad, I believe, quoted the age, so giving polar seltzer an edge based on establishing itself in the seltzer market first. And I just want to say I'm not a player in the seltzer market. This was simply because I made a comment. Yeah, I made a comment about you drinking polar seltzer, and I called it like the dollar store version or the budget Le Croix, and beautiful French accent. And those boys are from New England, so they could probably whip up a pretty good French accent. But anyway, Brad and Andrew, the beef has been continued. I'm sorry that you guys
how dare they?
Were tonically hurt.
How dare they challenge us? Do you know who we are? We're the self-described. We're the bad boys of the automotive blog.
Yes.
Sphere. We're the rebels, man.
Which is super funny because you were literally drinking a polar seltzer. So I mean, I think you guys have an alliance basically, but just one comment. So beef extended.
But that's why I'm drinking this super fancy 5% alcohol craft edition, to really step the game up. I don't know what the fanciest seltzer is. Perhaps this is it.
It's got to be there, man. There's got to
be. Yeah, where it's just like $180 for like a 12-ounce can.
I still think seltzer, and this is like, I catch a lot of heat for this, but I believe seltzered water is bottled by taking, like, running tap water and taking off fruit, whatever you're going to call it, like an orange, and just passing it under the faucet in like a super fast motion, just so you get that l'essence, the essence of orange into this, and that's seltzer water. So, fight me in the comments and the streets. Open invitation.
Big seltzer.
Big seltzer can suck it.
Yeah, I don't know. Now we need to mail the fellas each individually. I know they live in different parts of the country, but one to the southwest and one to the
northeast.
The northeast. I don't know, some sort of case of the most absurd flavor that we can find of seltzer water.
I love it.
And demand a review, actually, seltzer review.
I love everything about
That'll
this.
be the thing.
All right,
I think we should do that.
Let's move on.
What have you been up to? We haven't been talking.
Yeah, let's move past the beef. Yeah, we have had a bit of separation. We've been a little busy, but a lot has happened, my friend. And were you attacked by a raccoon just now? What happened? Frank?
Basically, hello. Hold on, let me say hello to this raccoon. What's up, dude?
He can talk. We've got breaking news. In Frank's
I'm a little
garage
busy.
versus
I'm a
Hockey
little bit
Raccoon.
too busy to throw socks at you, but I will throw socks at you later. Okay. Okay. Anyways, I was being requested
that
to
was
throw socks.
just to
at
clarify
somebody.
for the audience, that was Frank's son, not his wife this time. So he will not be.
Yeah.
Socks. I don't even
No.
want to comment, dude. I'm not going to go there.
No.
Anyway,
There's
I'm going to steer us
other
back.
things.
My
yeah.
wife. But dude, how about this
You can
topic
throw
to start off, my
snowballs.
friend? We have both recently auctioned vehicles, like almost at the same time. Yeah, and
We have.
I have an interesting story about mine. Do you
Okay.
want to
We
share?
haven't. We haven't even really talked about. Like, I know we've done this, and like we've been busy. I've been on a cruise ship with getting awful diseases, which I may or may not still have
Upside down
coursing through my
pineapple.
veins.
Upside down pineapple will do that to you on the cruises.
Especially depending on where you put it and how you do it.
Mm,
But like, yeah, it's we've had no time. We've had zero time to do anything, to the point where like, let's just talk about what we've been up to, because we just are in the dark. So this is going to be a very organic episode.
okay.
With
That sounded
regards to
horrible.
figuring out. No, the pineapple wasn't. That's why I'm having all these issues with my body falling apart. But yes, so I sold the Galant, which has been a long time coming. I feel like that's been something we've been discussing since about episode 10 of the pod.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And you have been talking about and sold the G20.
G20T.
Of course, don't
pass over that touring package.
Don't besmirch its name like that. Do you? Yours ended first.
Yeah,
you want to
chronologically. We'll
Yeah.
chronologically approach this topic. So G20 listed for sale, and this is a car I've been seeking for a long time. I think I made that like no questions about that. I've always been looking for a G20T in good shape, manual, of course. Like, let's be honest. The issue is I'm having, and we've talked about this, I don't want to hatch it out again, but I'm having to sell my shop space. I'm having to consolidate my cars down, and I couldn't pass on it. It came up for a good price. It was good condition, one owner, California car. Couldn't pass on it. So I would have loved, best case scenario, I would have loved to restore this car and just hold on to it, because I think they're very special. They're very unique, and we've talked about it ad nauseum almost on the podcast. So I'll skip that. But anyway, put it on there. Cars and Bids was the auction platform we chose to
Venue
use.
of choice.
Yeah, and I've had some pretty good luck on there. Sold some pretty weird shit. My profile is pretty much my life. If you look at my profile, it's an Isuzu Trooper, a Pontiac Bonneville Supercharged, a Dodge Daytona Shelby Z, and a G20T. I mean,
and a firearm, which is weird. But
yeah, literally each one comes with a surprise firearm. I hope you find it before you're stopped by the police. But it's kind of like my life in summary, right? If you look at my car selling history on there, it's Chadwick in a bottle. But anyway, man, so the car didn't really get too much like action, like on the day of, like literally hours before the auction ended. It was stopped at like $3,100, which I was like beside myself. I was like, this car does not fucking exist. I'm like, what is going on here? And I know usually you get some bid sniping at the end, but this was unheard of. Like 2 hours left, and it's like way below what I wanted it to be and way below it should have been. And then an ultimate bid war started, which was fucking entertaining as hell. Like the last hour was just sniper shots back and forth, and it settled at 59, which we talked about it before. We thought that was gonna go above that, being a G21.
Yeah, we did this. We set the over under at 65, I think, was what we were talking about.
I think we were up to 75, but I think we tempered. I think I said 65, you said 75, so I think we were at 7 if we called it, which given the condition of the vehicle and how it drove, was absolutely fantastic. But settled at 59. Cool. Went to a guy that made 2 comments. And he seemed like a cool guy in his comments. He was on G20.net, which I used to be on when I had my P11. So he's like, nice. Oh, dude, I'm so psyched I got this car, because he's from Florida. And obviously, East Coast cars, not in the condition of California cars usually. And these things are just unicorns anyway. So he was super pumped. At first, he thought he was going to do like an engine swap, all that kind of cool stuff. He was talking. He's like, in retrospect, no, this is too clean. I'm just going to restore it.
Yeah, you don't need to.
Yeah, it's that kind of, you could chop up a rough example, but you'd feel kind of bad, especially with the full leather interior being still intact. Anyway, he wins the auction. I email him immediately. I know the protocol. I'm pretty good. I'm like, you guys know me. I'm pretty good at communicating when I'm selling a car, even off that platform. But straight up 48 hours of no contact, like crickets, text, email, nothing. So I'm talking with the Cars and Bids people the whole time. They're trying to reach out to him. Dead nothing. And then the weirdest thing happened, dude. So someone else commented, the second place bidder said, hey, I'm just waiting to hear back from Cars and Bids at me. So I think the auction folks actually reached out to the second bidder already, which was
I don't
wild.
know.
It was a
Probably
weird
not.
comment. It was a weird comment.
Yeah, sometimes people, I don't know.
Eh?
I've seen where people fish, but they'll fish, or even if they weren't a bidder, they'll be near, oh, if this is still available, like
No,
I overslept and
this dude was an established bidder. He had like a huge
Yeah.
score and like commented. So I was like kind of confused about what happened there. And then dude texted me back, "Hey man, we've had a lot of rain." And I'm like, okay.
I heard rain prevents.
Took a deep breath. Like, I'm like, all right, buddy, I'm willing to give you a second chance, but 48 hours is a long time to ghost after an auction. I understand, like, it's 24 hours, and I waited it out. I didn't contact.
Or even just to be like, hey, man, I'm out of town. I'm busy.
Anything.
Just like some sort of sign of life, right?
Nothing. Like, not even a quick text or anything. So, like, I was shocked, and I'm like, okay, cool. And then after that, it was pretty straightforward. I waited a couple of days. We did the wire transfer and everything, and that was cool. And of course, I was up front with the title and everything, being clean and showing him copies and express mailing it to him. But dude, the story doesn't end there, my friend. And you know me, kind of like the Daytona where the story kept getting better. So he's like, I got a hauler coming. So I'm like, cool, I can work. We had a holiday on that Wednesday, Juneteenth. So I'm working from home anyway. I'm like, perfect. I'm going to be in the garage, dicking around, what I do in the garage best. And then he's like, the hauler should be there. He'll call. Hauler calls. Hey, my guy's like 2 hours out. Okay, cool. Hanging out. 2 hours go by, 3 hours go by, 4 hours. You know how this goes, right?
Every single time.
Every time. And I'm not expecting anything. I'm in the garage anyway. So I'm like, I'm going to go home and eat dinner. It's getting late. Dude calls at like 9 p.m. I'm not going to make it. I'm coming tomorrow. And I'm like, well, that's interesting because I have a lot of important meetings tomorrow. But hey, you know what? Maybe I'll work a half day. I'll come back. Yeah. Anyway, dude comes like randomly at like 10 a.m. right in the middle of a meeting. So I could hop out of the meeting and everybody's like, we knew you were doing something with a car. I'm like, yeah, you guys know me. My reputation precedes me. But anyway, dude's knocking on the door. I'm like, hey, he's like, can you bring the car up close to the trailer? I'm like, okay, cool. And I live in a good place, dead end road, not busy, like real easy to load cars on. Yeah, because they're always scared about stopping in a busy street, right? 2-story car hauler. I pull the car up. I go back in the house. Boom, boom, boom. My garage door, like 15 minutes later, as the dude's shuffling cars, he's like, Russian guy every time, and I'm gonna do a Russian impression. Bear with. He goes, my friend, you didn't tell me it's manual. And I literally, my heart stopped. I'm like, Frank, it's this guy's job to move fucking cars. How do you not know it's a manual? The buyer did let him know it's a manual.
Sure.
Homie didn't know how to drive stick.
Oops.
That's a weird predicament to be in. This car's going to Florida. He's literally, I don't know where his home is, probably Florida, and he has no one
Could be
else.
Georgia. Yeah, the nation or the state.
Could be anywhere, yeah. But no one to drive the truck or drive the vehicle, and no one else to come help him. So I'm like, he's like, we have two options. He's like, you can drive the car onto the ramp. I'm like, dude, I am not backing this car. You have to go backwards on the top one, up like a 50-degree slope with a 30-year-old car, burning clutch, and sliding off that thing after I've sold it. That's like way not cool. Yeah. And he's like, well, let me think of something. And I'm like, how about the bottom? He's like, yeah, you can drive it on the bottom. So he had to adjust everything. Still, you can't see anything, just you know. And he's like guiding me on and tripping and falling the whole time. It was just an absolute shit show. And you have to drive, since I was the back car or the front car, I had to hang the whole front half of the car off the trailer. And it's like this horrible feeling, right? To have this Russian guy that's going to fucking be like zero liability as soon as I fall off that thing. Anyway. I took a picture of it on there. I'm like, dude, I had to drive it on, so just be expecting to drive it off when you get the car delivered if it's the same.
He's like, what the hell? Okay.
Yeah, he's like, oh my God. Well, at first I called him like, guy can't drive stick. So I'm like, whatever. Dude, it's done. Payment went through. Cool guy. He's super pumped about getting the car. Yeah, but still, every time with the drama, man. Every goddamn time.
It's so rare for there to be like undrama filled. No, not the like when it comes to the shipping part, like the transporter.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And it's always
like, we'll call you 24 hours in advance, and then 4 days go by and you don't hear anything, and then you get a call and it's like, so I'm gonna be there in 10 minutes, and it's like, but I'm not. I'm 2 hours away. Like, where do you? Yeah.
I don't know, man. Not driving stick though is like, that's the first.
Yeah,
that's just out of this world. It's like, I don't have a driver's license. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, buddy? But anyway, that was my story. How'd your also? Yeah, so I'm pretty happy overall. I mean, Cars and Bids, always good guys, and I'm pretty easy to deal with. I know my shit when it comes to selling and buying cars. So I'm very communicative, very detailed. But just I'm happy where it went. I wish it would a little bit more, but it is what it is. How about you and your Galant VR4, you son of a bitch, which I thought you'd never sell that car.
Ultimately, I'm happy with the result. You know, I kind of wish it went for a little bit more, but so basically what you just said. But yeah, so that auction went well. Got a lot of really good positive attention. The Doug review video didn't hurt it. Your ridiculous collection of videos from all the work you did that I had them embed into the listing didn't hurt. I did my own quick walk around video talking about the history of the car a little bit and all that. I threw in all the extras that I had, kind of sprinkled them throughout the auction. It did well. Like I want to say it had like almost 20,000 views, which is pretty good.
Nice.
And it ended up selling for 10,400, which was interesting because that was basically the exact opposite of your auction, because it bid to 10,000 on day one.
Right, that was
bids.
wild.
Like one bid was like $1,500, and then the second bid was 10 grand, and it sat there almost until the very finish. Like it, like the day before the last day, it took a couple of $100 bids. It got to 10,400, and then it just went through the finish, and nobody bid again. It just didn't get any drama at all at the end.
When I saw that 10K bid, dude, I thought we were going to the moon on that one. I'm like, this is it. Finally.
That I think is the sneaky. That's like the sneaky pro strat, in my opinion, on this bidding. Where if you look at a car and you say, like that car, you say, ooh, that's probably, let's say it's about what I thought it was going to. I thought it would end around 12 and a half. So it's okay. Let's say if you think it's worth 12 and a half, and you could be like, boy, I bet let me bet a little bit close to that, and then see if I can get it for a little bit of a bargain, and just throw one hammer bid early, and then just see if you can suck the air out of the auction. Yeah. Now these cars, they do not transact, and I had a Doug review video with it, so like it's a little immune to that, right? Because they're such a wild card. You don't know, is it going to sell for 10? Is it going to sell for 12? Is it going to sell for 25? Like they aren't available. And
dude, we talked about it quite a bit, right? We talked about where we thought this auction was going to end up, and I was all day 12, and I thought really 13.5 was where we were going to end up, because like, just to reiterate to you guys that aren't familiar with this car, I owned this car before Frank, and I did everything you'd want to do to a Galant, right? The big thing is that timing belt water pump job is a monster. A lot of shops don't even touch that one, just to be super clear with you guys, and all the fluids, all the kind of basic stuff, but still, like, put a lot of work
into ECU and
turbo
and
everything.
The Evo 3 manifold and
DSM,
the axle,
second gen manifold.
Oh, I thought it was an Evo 3.
Second gen DSM, baby. That's the go-to. It's super thick compared to the first gen. Yours was when I got the car, because you brokered the sale of the original car to me, and it was cracked manifold, turbo didn't do shit.
Yeah, it was cooked.
You had to replace it, and I did the known true. Being a Galant VR4 aficionado, clearly, I did the known stuff. But still, with all that work in that car being a one-owner car, with the whole backstory you have and how clean that damn car is, an original.
Yeah,
I'm like literally beside myself. I think it was super well bought. I think the owner got a hell of a steal on
I think it's well bought. I mean, my quote unquote mental reserve was 10, right? Where I think it'll do 12 and a half. If it does 20% lower than that, like, okay, that sucks, but it's going to be what it's going to be. Under 10, I think would have been like, damn, I got jobbed. And that didn't happen. Now 10.4 isn't exactly flying past that number.
Right.
But here's the thing. I think to myself, and I know I said this a little bit too when I sold the Lexus on this car. I mean, I've been mentally having this thing for sale for almost a year. How long have I been talking about selling this car?
Way too, like literally 2 weeks after I sold it to you. No, I'm just kidding. Pretty a while.
But I mean, honestly, like over a year.
Yeah.
And so.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think today's $10,000 sale was yesterday's $12,500 sale. Like, I think the market in the last year has moved down 20%.
Maybe.
And so, but that said, that's just the floor, right? Like, this car had a chance to sell for way, way, way beyond that for someone just looking for a clean driver, because you just cannot find a clean stock driver. They don't exist.
And that's kind of a factor too, right? Like some of these super rare cars, and the Gallant's definitely counted amongst one of the rarest cars. It does celebrate a bit of market immunity, because like the scarcity drives that, right? So yes, it will kind of mirror that, but in general, like we'll be honest, you can probably count on your two hands like how many clean stock unmodified Galant VR4s are out there with that kind of mileage range, right? There's probably not a lot left. Let's be brutally honest. There never was a lot to start with. We're very much diminished reserves at this point. I'm shocked, especially with the Doug bump and everything. I'll say it, man. I'm actually super surprised how low the car went, and I think it deserved more. I mean,
yeah, I think it should have gotten more, but it's not like it sold for 6, right?
Yeah,
if it sold for 6, then that would have been like something. Yeah, then it's a straight up robbery. I think it went for the bottom end of the market. I thought if it had a chance to go above the bottom end of the market, it would have been this car that would have done it.
Yeah.
But it's just hard to measure a market that doesn't exist, and by that I mean like they don't transact. So it's tricky, and rarity doesn't always beget value.
Does not, but like it's good rarity. This is a numbered car with a known rally heritage. Like we've talked about the Galant VR4 multiple times, but I just think this example, I guess I was off, but I really think this was a 13K car all day.
Yeah, no, that's right in the same. If I'm saying 12 and a half and you're saying 13, we're basically saying the same thing.
Go find another one. Your famous quote there, right? Like go find another stock.
One.
Go on, other than the one I got in my other garage, but go find it. Like honestly, in today's market, like you're hard pressed to find a stock one. You really are. You always were since like the early 2000s.
Always were, always have. Yeah. And the few things that you didn't take care of on the car, namely the tires and suspension. The original struts. Yep. I did that. I also did lower ball joints. I did the the clutch master, and I did inner and outer tie run-ins. Well, for some of the while you're in there. And yeah, so the next owner, he's flying in from Texas and he's driving it home, which hat tip to him. He's coming in on Friday night.
Nice. Dude, well bought. He did very
really well.
Yeah.
He did really well. And so
I sank about 50 hours of labor in there. You did a bunch of labor. I think he did pretty damn good.
I had to rebuild that stupid turbo.
Yeah. Hey, just finding a stock turbo. So I was able to source one that wasn't cracked, but the like wastegate housing and everything. Yeah. So I mean, just that car alone, damn man. Yeah. Well bought, sir.
No, it's gonna be good, and I hope he uses it, because that's what that car's for. It's 148,000 miles.
Use it.
It's the epitome of a solid driver. Like it needs to get, which is part of why I sold it, is I just wasn't driving it. I just don't have the bandwidth. I don't have the capacity. I've got too many damn cars. So
good one.
This will. I'm getting 10 for it, but I'm also getting a parking space, which is priceless.
It's always nice cashing out,
Yep. So that one's going on. What else have you been up to, my friend?
I mean, I said that I wouldn't buy any cars in 2024, and I'm doing a horrible job, obviously. Bought another car, my friend. So behind me, for those who are viewing the ocular version of our podcast, is the GX470, our beloved, pearl white, lower mileage, one owner one, which is one of my favorite vehicles of all time. That is not on the chopping block at all. But we said, what's better than one pearl white Lexus product?
Ooh, twins.
2. So yeah, its twinge just happens to be dynamically opposed in just about every area. So we purchased a 2015 Lexus CT200H. That is the fancy Prius, as it's known amongst everyone just about. I owned one for a very long time, a 2012, which I absolutely loved. And I think I wrote a review called The Ultimate Commute Machine, or whatever the hell the title was. What a car. Frank owns a goddamn Lexus CT200H. They're just
CT King.
One of my favorite cars of all time for commuting purposes, because it offers just about all the efficiency of a Prius wrapped up in, I think, a gorgeous hatchback design with a wonderful interior. It just looks well. It's more comfortable. It just, God, it's good. And you don't get your cat stolen, because cat thieves just see Prius. They don't see what a CT200H really is underneath.
Which is Prius.
That's a plus. So anyway, with this car, Frank, these cars are actually pretty valuable. I sold mine for, I think, just under 13K with like 140 something thousand miles on it. which was about what I paid for it. So I broke even over like a great number of years and tens of thousands of miles. So I was super happy about that. But I was like, nah, gas prices are still pretty high. I am putting some mileage on until we move. So I'm like, let's get something fuel efficient that the old lady can drive, if you will.
Yeah.
Term of endearment. So 2015, 170,000 miles. So pretty high mileage.
Hey, that's what mine's got now.
Nice. That's a sweet spot for these cars.
Yeah.
However, the only crux of these cars is they do have a head gasket issue that can develop. So a lot of folks will replace that. This one had that replaced, steering rack replaced, all new shocks, water pump, all that kind of basic stuff. This is a chain-driven vehicle. It's a 1.8 Toyota engine. So it's insane. I can't even describe. Mechanically, like 9.5 out of 10. Cosmetically close to 9.5 out of 10. This car, Frank, I gotta show you how beautiful this body is. Like not a single dent.
Show me that body.
Yeah, the pearl paint does not peel. Just so you know, guys, it's like absolutely immune to sun damage. I don't know if it's the magical pearl flakes harvested from the Sea of Japan or some other witchcraft I don't understand. But anyway, the interior also had to get my caramel Nulux leather.
Heck yeah, so, Nulux boys.
You guys know me, man. So it's a absolutely striking. Interior is fucking gorgeous. It's like I'd give it a 9 out of 10 overall car. Like, and I'm pretty harsh on grading my cars. So we scored that for only $8,500, which
damn, that's a killer deal.
That's a fucking steal for that condition. So
I mean, think about mine. Mine is
you got a killer deal though, dude.
Well, yeah, but like mine has the opposite condition paint of yours. It's got a scuff on it. The wheels are curved up. You know, yeah, similar head gasket was done and dealer servicing and all that and caramel Nulux and all the things, but like it needs a complete repaint. There's one cigarette burn in the driver's seat. The pop-up display screen is all yellowed.
Yeah, they do.
Which is common on those. And mine was $5,000, which is a killer deal. But like, if someone said to me and said, "Hey, I can fix all of that shit right now, and it'll cost you $3,500," I'd be like, I'd probably do it, right? Like a complete repaint and like an unmessed up screen and fix the seat and clean the interior up even more. Yeah, so I think you got the better deal ultimately, and you know, with the exception of like I have the freedom that comes with a car with no paint on it.
You don't care.
It's just like, yeah, I just don't care. Like, oh, it's covered in bird crap. I just don't care.
There is something to be said about that, living that life.
Your freedom.
Yeah, but it's a peach, dude. First drive from San Jose out to Tracy, 48 miles per gallon. It's just you can't beat these cars. So now we have the ultimate pearl white 2-car solution at our house. Oh, we have the GX and we have the CT, which is super cool because they're both really good examples of Lexus products that do different things, right? Like we can throw like, I don't know, 8 people in the GX and go to Tahoe and go off-roading and haul all the gear you ever wanted. Or we can get in the CT and drive around and get nearly 50 mpgs. So it's like, what a cool 2-car solution for sub $25,000.
Yeah, back when Toyota Lexus made reliable things, unlike today where they've got
twin turbos coming up,
all kinds of stuff blowing up. Yeah. And I guess rumor has it the new Tacomas, the 2024 Tacomas, are eating transmissions. I don't know.
Hey man, what the hell?
No.
Go buy your used Toyota and Lexus products, guys. But honestly, like our driveway looks really nice for under $25K. And if you're out there financing a $35,000 Altima, maybe rethink some things if you have options, right? But no, both are good. Both are super reliable and excellent. It's just cool cars, man. You can't go wrong.
Yeah. No, well played, sir.
Yeah, not bad. And like we're trying to financially position ourselves for the purchase of the house. So ideally, no car payments is good. And then having 2 very reliable vehicles also good. You don't want to have a car issue as you're trying to do about 3 real estate transactions at once. But super happy, man. Yeah, so that's it. You know, buying cars, of course.
Yes.
That being said, though, Frank, I gotta let something go. We can't operate with an add stuff, not take away stuff mindset. So unfortunately, it means my freaking awesome. I've absolutely loved as a daily Acura TSX Manuel is going to probably be up for sale soon. And honestly, I don't know how to price that in the market, man. There's no comps.
What's tough is I feel like it's probably worth somewhere between 6 and 8. Somewhere
all day between 6 and 8.
And I think at 6 I think 6 would be a killer buy. My My thought is, though, I don't know if your average degenerate car buyer will appreciate that as a $6,000 car, even only six, because look at the miles and and like I don't care, you don't care, like it's a high score, it's a badge of honor that just shows how well that car's been kept.
Well, right.
That's our belief, but I think regular ass Joe Blow who like wants a good commuter sedan for under 10 grand and actually sees the manual transmission as a bonus. I mean, thankfully the manual transmission will wash a lot of those people out.
Sure.
That don't value the car for what it is, but I don't know. It's going to be really, really tough. It'd be one of those cars where, like, if it had 50,000 miles on it instead of, what is it, 280, 300?
No,
what is it?
325, baby.
325. That's right. Instead of 325, if it was 25, then yeah, it'd be worth 20 grand.
Sure.
But it ain't. And so people are going to, I don't know. I think everyone who's going to look to buy it is going to try and bargain hunt. And it's a car that I think is, I don't know, it's worth more than that. But
yeah, well, here's the thing. The manual is a super rare option already on those. 90% of the TSXs from that vintage are clear coat destroyed.
Yep.
This one is, you've seen it. It's like a very fucking good looking car. The interior is like at least a 9 out of 10. Everything functions: AC, nav, heated seats, sunroof, all the, you name it. And it looks, if I lied to you and said it was a $70,000 car, you wouldn't bat an eye, because this car was car is in,
it does.
It's in fantastic condition. I've done brakes, I've done all the basic maintenance. It's I'm the third owner, so the 2-owner car for that mileage is always a good sign. Here's the thing: manual TSXs, even with shit paint, are going for 6, but that's the floor. And it does.
You can't find them.
That could be 200K mileage at this point.
They all have at least 189
because they got driven. You got to remember, this isn't just like a 6-speed manual Honda product. This is a K24 K series engine from the factory, powered 6-speed manual that just gets up and go 205 horsepower over 2.4. It's a pretty remarkable car, really quick for what it is, and it's loaded to the gills, black on black, which is probably the best color combo in these cars. Not that tan interior. It has the perforated
that
leather.
Blue, that like pretty bright blue. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good, but like I think these junior execs look so good in black, and plus the interior, the interior is not that tan beige bullshit. It's actually like full on black perforated leather, and it looks, I mean, good.
And
like,
they do have a red, but a zero. Like, you talk about 90% of the cars have clear coat. 0% of the red ones are still with us. All of the red ones, even if the clear coat's still on it, they just turned pink.
Yeah, and this car operates like absolutely fantastically. So I've been dailing it. So I think 75 is the real price on this, and I think that's a well-bought car because it has been sorted and no issues whatsoever. No issues at all. The car runs perfectly. So, I mean, go find another manual TSX if you can. I think even you get a shop paint one with like 200,000 miles, you're going to pay another 2 to 3 grand to get that paint done cheaply, right? So you're already going to be,
for sure.
You're going to be over your head.
Yeah, it's definitely the better option. I just, you know as much as I do how most people are dumb when it comes to miles, and they clutch their pearls. They're thinking the moment something hits 200,000 miles, it just push it into the ocean, right? When like it's and the other end of it too is, I think, the other day, last night, I was sending you a bunch of stuff that's for sale on Marketplace right now, because we're finally getting back into the world of there's good buys out there suddenly.
There are.
When there wasn't for the last 3 years. Yeah. And so it's interesting to see. I'm still in the same mind of like sell everything I can now, because I think the buys are just going to keep getting better. But I think we're really getting into the real downturn. And so
I think it gets there because this is truly an enthusiast vehicle. I think the manual being so rare, it's kind of like like the IS300. You can get an IS300 automatic for 4K all day. You want a manual, you're already paying 8 to 9 to 10 plus. So I think the manual play is in there. I think the manual TSXs are the same. I think they double the price of the automatic, and the automatics are going for 4 to 5. I think 75, take into account the mileage, but also factor in the condition. I think.
You think you're going to list it at that much? And then
I would probably list it at like 78. I'd go 78 or best offer.
Yeah.
And I'd list all the maintenance I've done. Remember, this is brand new tires, brakes, valve cover gasket, spark plugs, wire, all the, you name it, right? All the basic maintenance has been done. And I'd
It couldn't
list
get it. It couldn't get it. It's because what? Find another one, right? Like it's just.
and people want these. They in hell, the K24 itself, a healthy K24 is worth quite a bit of money right now. Everybody's using that as their swap of choice. So
Yeah.
I mean, I would
just be
so-
prepared, and you know how it's going to work, right? Is every single
yeah.
person that's going to be talking about the car. I don't know. Those miles are pretty extreme, and
Yeah.
I don't know. Kelly Blue Book says, and da 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 da. And,
Hey, I found this automatic one with shot paint going for $5. I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
Buy it. Enjoy it.
sounds like a good deal. Go get it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it'll get there. I think bottom is 7. I wouldn't let it go for under 7. I think it's worth way more than that. A manual TSX is still a extremely rare bird, and I have yet to see one. There's 120,000 miles examples. Don't even look that good. So, car's very sharp.
I'm into it.
Yeah.
I am into it.
So it's got to go though, unfortunately, and it's been an absolute perfect steed as a daily. Very comfortable, very quick. Oof.
I've somehow not bought any new cars.
How dare you?
I know.
Dare you bring that?
Well, I gotta
podcast.
get another one or two out. And then I can bring one in.
I hear you.
That's the rub. Should we? You got anything else? Because I don't really have anything else other than I went on a cruise to Alaska and came back and
died.
Have COVID and on and on. But outside of all that, should we just
let's do it?
Should I just let you try and kick the shit out of me via quizzification sensation?
Yeah, and what's fun is I'll pull up this ad because it reads in 10 seconds, but I'll let you describe the game real quick.
Okay, well, what's fun is this game, which is our print ad quiz game. In today's episode, Chadwick here is going to find a print advertisement from some sort of a magazine from the 80s, 90s to the mid 2000s. He's going to read the type copy from that, and will then be up to me to try and sort out the make and model of this advertisement within 3 guesses. I can ask for hints if I make a guess and get it wrong. And yeah, I get 10 minutes to play with this here once he's done reading that print copy. And and that's kind of how this works. Please play along at home. It's quite fun.
Yes.
And hopefully this is a seltzer-based advertisement where there's some cross promotion between Waterloo and whatever manufacturer this is. I don't know. What do you got? Bring it, homie. Okay. I'm listening.
First off, single page, vehicle, apexing a corner, dramatic driver's side 3/4, Dutch angle a little bit, kind of cool shit going on here.
Stupid mad animals.
Cars in a beautiful color. We'll describe that later. This is the shortest ad we've ever read. Okay, and this is not the neon high. This is not neon high. So we'll save that space. Get ready, Frank. Racing stripes, shaker hood, and 305 horses. Who says only genies grant 3 wishes? Frank, what are we talking about today? Let me start the clock.
All right.
You got this.
Okay. This is a 2004 Ford Mustang Mach 1 final answer.
2003. So thanks for playing. Congratulations, dude. Yes. So Mach 1, the muscle car lives on, is the actual rest of that ad. It's
305 horsepower. Is it the grabber blue?
Yes, that kind of almost purpley dark. Oh, what a beautiful color. Soft spot.
Oh no, sorry. Grabber blue is more like the powder blue.
Yeah, Grabber Blue is more like the Boss 302 came in Grabber Blue.
This here.
Yeah, this came in the purpley blue. Technical Ford jargon, right? But honestly, I almost bought one of these when they were rock bottom. You could get these for 8, 9, 10. And now they've gone.
They're still good. Are they back up?
Yeah, they're up there, dude. They're like 20K for a clean one now. And they came in
Really?
cool colors. There was a yellow that was absolutely fantastic. These things were dope, dude. They had the shaker hood, which, if you let your motor mounts go, is an extra shaker hood, I've heard. But
Yes.
this is a good motor, 305 horsepower. I believe this is the 4.6. I always thought these were fucking cool, dude. They had I think they had a special interior, special seating surfaces, and didn't they have the white cue ball shifter? Am I right, or am I mixing that up with the Bullet? I could be
Ooh,
mixing that
I
up.
think the Bullet had the cue ball.
Okay, so I'm drunk, but honestly,
Is that
the shaker hood
is
is
that
what
Sonic Blue Pearl? Is that the name of that
I
color?
think so. Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that was Sonic Blue Pearl. Um,
I could tilt
yes.
my laptop. This will be not awkward at all, but
No, totally reasonable and great radio. Yeah,
hell
yeah.
brother.
Oh, that was back in the day of like,
What a fucking cool car.
fish-eye lens effect.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, those are cool. I when those came out, I remember, and I'm still not really a Mustang guy, but I remember when that came out, I was like, ooh, that one's pretty cool. Although the whole thing was like, ooh, it's got the shaker hood, but it's like a modern V8. It just sits there. It doesn't actually shake.
That's why you let the motor mounts go, Frank, and then you got a real shaker hood.
Put some crazy super lumpy cam situation in there.
Dude, I think these looked good. I think the hood did look cool because it had like the matte black in there, and then like the colors they threw in these cars, like I said, the yellow, this color. There were a couple other weird colors, really bright, brilliant red. These things just popped,
like torch red or whatever.
These looked good, and this was at the end of that design of Mustang, and I think it got better. It got better over time. The old ones horribly aged, but these look good. I don't know. I still have a soft spot for one of these. I get a Mach 1 from this period in a heartbeat. I drive the shit out of that thing, dude. I'd open up the exhaust.
Those are good. I like the Bullets too. The Bullets are pretty cool.
Bullets are super cool.
Yeah. No, they're good. Yeah, I'm into it. So I approve.
Cool car. Just wanted to read that one super quick ad. But PCP, my friend, I think we need to celebrate. That was easy. I think that was a layup for you. But had to do it, man. We haven't done a lot of Mustangs, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, we haven't. I think we've done an SVO.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
And I want to say we've done like maybe an early Fox body.
I think we did a Mercury Capri 5.0 too.
Yeah, we've done that.
That's us.
Yep.
But
and it's funny when you said it's like it's short on words. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a modern one because that's what happened. It's the High campaign and then all the Volkswagen new wave car campaign stuff. Where it was all super. Yeah, exactly. Far from Pukin, and it would just be really, the Appleification of auto marketing, where it's just 2 words and a picture and a bunch of blank negative space, and that's it. So.
Yeah, 2 words, 1 page, right?
Exactly. Yeah, there's somewhere out there is a cup that feels cut out of this equation. But yeah, so that worked out. That was fun. That was
good one, man. Good job. Project Car Progress is our PCP section where we do abuse hard drugs. At NX2K, my friend. Speaking of shaker hoods, this car had the worst engine vibration at idle and driving that you can imagine.
All do.
Like it's fucking, and the SR20 is such a smooth engine. What it is obviously a high revving engine. That thing fuel cut at 77. But engine mounts, my friend, I could see visually all the stress cracks. I could literally see the bolt is able to like move. The engine mount is able to move around the bolt. It was time to replace engine mounts. And on most cars from that period, engine mounts can be a pain in the dick because things are very complicated. The early 90s, a lot of vacuum lines. You had a lot of weird superfluous stuff, and it was all jammed, usually in a small hood. Like the NX 2000 is not a big car. We're talking transverse 4-cylinder, which is one of the harder engines to access for a 4-cylinder if you're doing anything but valve cover gaskets and spark plugs. But anyway, so there's one right to the left, easy peasy, dude. Just pull the reservoir out, get to it. Underneath, the rear one is jammed right beside the exhaust, right behind the transmission bell housing, and it's under it is a subframe brace that runs front to rear, and in the front there's one that's easy to access. So I'm like, you know what? I'm pretty dumb, also clever at times. So I'm like, I can drop that subframe, loosen the 2 bolts connected to the engine, drop the subframe with 4 bolts, and that whole subframe and both motor mounts drops.
Easy.
Because there's more bolts to get the engine mounts out. And I'm like, let's do that. So obviously did that. Super easy. This car is not crusty at all. Now, a crusty car, you probably don't want to try to break those loose because you're going to round those bad boys.
You're dead.
They're huge 14 millimeter bolts. Got it loose, and then I was able to access everything. Dude, Nissan, I just want to say I love you, Nissan, from this period, because the torque settings on every bolt, whether it goes through the bushing or connects the bushing to the frame or to the car, was at the exact same torque setting, 38
Easy.
pound-feet. Set your torque wrench, everything's the same. Also, Frank, every bolt, 14 millimeter. It's like,
Love
you're
it.
kidding me. You can't do that anymore. Modern cars? Fuck no, dude. You're going through like, I don't know. You have to do a million different
Yeah.
things. But Nissan from this time, genius. And I have the actual service manual for that car, which is a bonus when I bought the car. But
Nothing
anyway,
enrages me more when there's a random 15 millimeter. Like, why?
gross. Yeah, for no reason. And not even like
Why?
someone swapped out an aftermarket bolt. It's just for no reason. Different. You know, or it's like a 15 and two 14s holding it to the, you know, it's like, what the fuck, guy? But all came out easy, man. New engine mounts go in, a little more harder to put it together. You got to keep playing with the jack underneath the oil pan to get it just the right height to get the bolts through. There's a little play there, and then putting the subframe back together and torquing everything down to spec. Idles fucking perfectly. That SR20 is a very smooth engine. I just think over time, because the high revving nature, it does cause the engine mounts to fail, and there's probably a lot of stress on them because of that. But anyway, the transmission mount had been done before, so now that car just smooth sailing, my friend.
Brilliant.
Mounts are a big deal. They're one of those things that, like,
Yeah.
yeah, you can drive it and it feels like shit, but when you do it, it's like a total NVH overhaul. It changes the car's personality. So
It really does. Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big deal.
big job. Cost me like 60
parts are nothing.
60 bucks in parts, dude. So yeah,
Anchor brand.
Yep. Hey, they make good shit.
Mounts. They do.
Shit.
It makes them. They hold it down.
Yeah. So that was my PCP, and a very important PCP. But how about you, man? Turn any wrenches?
No, but I use my eyeball wrenches, if that makes sense.
Does not, but carry on.
No. Okay. let me explain.
Eyeball.
So I had to stop over by the Car Donation Yard a couple of days ago to juggle some cars around. And while I was over there doing that, I had to wait for something. Let me wait. Let me. I just went to go put my eyes on the little Honda Accord, right? The 87 Accord that I have, the one that's got the smog issue.
Oh yeah.
For those who don't recall, $1,000. It's just been sitting over there because I don't have room or time. And the reason it was $1,000 is because it failed smog. What happened was, original owner, million-year-old man, overheated it, blew the head gasket. It got donated. They then had a fly-by-night shop do the head gasket repair for way too little money.
Yeah.
They did the head gasket repair.
I know a guy, right?
Yeah, I know a guy who knows a guy. Did the whole, I think the entire job was like $700 for the head gasket. They did the repair. It then ran, held all its fluids, everything's great, right? It then passed smog. However, they got it back from smog and it was pissing oil all over itself. Okay. So I looked at it and I'm like, dude, this is like leaking from the back of the head gasket between like the motor and the firewall. It's just pissing oil out. Like they fucked something up here. So they sent it back to that shop. It sat over there for like a month. At the same time, the alternator was overcharging for some reason. So they put an alternator in it. It then came back running, driving, it'll now throw an occasion. It'll drop. You'll start it up. It'll drive. And after, I don't know, 3 minutes, it'll pop a PGMFI light for the fuel injection system.
Yep.
And it falls on its face on smog. It's blowing like 8% CO up the tailpipe. It's supposed to be blowing 0.89.
Yeah. Wow.
They couldn't figure it out. It was going to go to the wrecker, so I bought it, saved it. So I said, okay, let me just poke around under the engine bay real quick. Not even going to try and start it. Nothing. Just see. So I'm just looking around, just glancing. I find one clear and obvious major vacuum leak, just a completely broken hose for the charcoal canister. Charcoal canister, it connects right behind the throttle body.
Yep.
Okay. Probably not causing it to run almost 10 times rich. If anything, it's probably keeping that number from being even higher, right? Because it's letting in unmetered air. Although not really, because the way those meter air is purely off of the MAP sensor. No, they don't have a flapper door AFM. They don't have a MAF. They run off of
MAP, right? Yeah.
They run off MAP. So I'm like, okay, well, let me look. Maybe there's a busted wire or two, because there's some signs of my mild rodent damage under the hood.
Mm.
So I'm just looking around, and what do I like? I just glancing for 30 seconds, and I see one of the two wires going to the engine coolant temp sensor.
Oh,
It's
that's
completely broken off of the
very aggressive.
yeah, broken off of the pigtail, like at the connector, like where it connects to the
That's the
connector, it's
fucking
completely
worst.
broken off. So
Yeah.
it needs a whole pigtail, right?
Mhm.
And it's one of those big, chunky, round 80s,
I know.
those 80s
100%.
Japanese connectors.
Yep.
So good news is, like, that pigtail connector is available for like $17 on eBay Motors
That's shocking.
for a new one, like a new
Yeah.
connector.
That's cool.
Now, what I don't know is, I looked at a wiring diagram that I have, and it doesn't say, because there's two of these side by side, two sending units. One's going to be for the gauge in the dash, and one's going to be for the ECU.
Yep.
I don't know which this one is for. If it's for the ECU,
yeah,
which is, I think it is, because it's a 2-wire connector.
Yeah, because the
versus usually
gauge
the other
usually
ones,
one.
it's just
Yeah.
a hot
Single.
wire, and it grounds itself, right?
Yeah, it's just the signal.
Just so that's it. So I think it's the one for the ECU.
That's
If it is, that makes all the sense in the world, right? Because if it's broken and it's sending out by default some ridiculously implausible number,
won't
right?
run
Because usually if it's disconnected, it defaults to like max cold.
Mhm.
So if it's reading as like negative 99 degrees or something at all times, that would make sense too, why it wouldn't throw that error light until 3 or 4 minutes down the road, when it should be out of its cold start cycle.
Yep.
And it should be going from closed loop to open loop, or whichever, open loop to closed loop.
Open to closed. Yep.
Yeah. And so maybe it's as simple as that.
That would be so fucking awesome.
Which would be dope. That said, do I still think I'm going to find like 11 other can of worms from the shop that touch this thing?
Hell
Absolutely. So, and there's a couple of other minor things I know, like one of the pop-up light doesn't pop up. So I'd have to address that. It's got a broken side mirror, just cracked. The housing's cracked, not that big a deal. Needs a battery. So if that's it, then I'll be in good shape. But it can't be something crazy, because it passed smog, and then it went back to the shop, and they did a bunch of dumb shit, and then it came back fixed, but then it's shitting the bed, and now it won't even come close to passing smog.
Yeah, start with that wire, put some mileage on it, run some clean fuel through it. Obviously, if you haven't done spark plugs, do spark plugs, fresh oil change, do all the like sneaky.
And what's really stupid is, if the head gasket was done on this, you would expect all of that shit to be brand new. I don't trust the shop.
Nope.
To have done, like, it should have. If you're doing that, like, okay, it should also have a new timing belt. It should also have plugs, and
dude, if you took the fucking head off and didn't put a timing belt on, you're some kind of special.
I'm saying.
There's a place in hell for that.
Yeah. But if you're paying a shop $700 to do, and I guarantee they like deck the block in the head with just like a fucking Scotch Brite. Like, they just didn't. I don't know.
A standing block. They're just fucking left all the particles back into the block. I love it. Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't know. Oh, who knows? Maybe they did a perfect job, but I promise there was no machine work done on it. So I don't know. We'll see. But I hope that'll do it, and I can at least save it from the wrecker. And if I can get it to pass smog and drive it around for an hour, and then sell it for $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. I mean, they're desirable. It's the one you want, but like,
agreed.
I'd feel bad selling it for all the money to somebody that like know that there's probably some skeletons in its closet. So
catastrophic. But yeah, dude, we got some pretty good PCP done, man. That's
we've done it.
Always good to get done. You killed the quiz, and I think it's time to shut this thing down. Do you want to take us home, Daddy?
Let's go home. Yes. Oh boy. Well, thank you, friends, for listening along. I encourage you to buy the most expensive seltzer that you can, and then discuss it and how it's better than Polar Seltzer on your social media outlet of choice. Also, you should continue to listen to us. By the way, throw the guys over there at Auto Off Topic a phone. They're fun people, so give them a listen as well.
Definitely
give them shit, if not only to be able to hear them continue to talk shit about our podcast. This is a constructive beef we've got going on here.
Is there-
So go check them out. And then continue to check us out. Another Pointless Automotive podcast. Tell your friends. We do the video component here. So if you're not staring at our horrible, in my case, disease-ridden face, then yeah, just feel free to go on YouTube and look up another Pointless Automotive podcast there. You'll see me, a plague rat personified, and Chadwick's incredibly well-kept beard. And then yeah, you can also see us completely ignore our friends, family, and fans on our Instagram page. So check us out at APA Podcast. I'm Frank. I take pictures of cars and things, the photographer's garage on those things. How about you, Chadwick?
Yeah, my name's Chadwick. I rescue cars, I restore cars, and I review cars on the YouTubes at Auto Obsessive Garage. So again, guys, from the bottoms of our hearts and the tops of our farts, we thank you for stopping by. We love you. Take care.
We love you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.